Today, we're diving into a pretty incredible idea. What if our biology is a living, breathing record of ancient laws? And what if all those spiritual practices from the past were really just a way of, well, reading our own biological code? Let's see just how deep this connection really goes.
So, let's start with the central question that's going to frame our whole journey today. What if ancient spirituality wasn't really about superstition at all? What if it was based on a deep, almost instinctual understanding of human biology, an understanding we're only now starting to rediscover with our modern science?
To even begin to answer that, we've got to look at nature's forgotten language. And you know what? It all starts with the most basic, fundamental act of life itself, just breathing. Just take a look at this. It's a universal pattern. You're looking at completely different cultures, Greek, Latin, Hebrew, and across the board, the word they used for breath is the exact same word they used for spirit. Our ancestors, they made this direct, intuitive leap. To breathe is to be alive, to be animated by some kind of life force.
You see, this suggests that the earliest forms of religion weren't about some dogma that was handed down from on high. No, they were more like a kind of proto-science, a way of observing, of understanding, and ultimately of trying to live in harmony with the real, tangible forces of the natural world.
Okay, so let's bring this down from the clouds of concepts and into the physical body. Let's see how this inner wisdom actually plays out in our biology.
All right, get this. Back in 2016, the Nobel Prize was awarded for the discovery of a process called autophagy. It's basically our body's built-in recycling program for our cells. When we stop eating for a little while, our cells go into this spring cleaning mode, breaking down old, damaged parts to build new, healthy ones. And this is where it clicks. This quote from traditional nature cure philosophy just shows that our ancestors knew this. They knew this intuitively. Of course, they didn't have a fancy word like autophagy, but they absolutely understood that fasting was a way to purify the body, to give it a chance to self-correct and just reset.
And this pattern just keeps repeating itself. You look at ritual washing, found in traditions like the Hebrew mikveh, well, that reflects the natural principle of hygiene, of renewal. And in the exact same way, the ancient practice of fasting is a direct, one-to-one mirror of the biological process of autophagy.
But the connection goes so much deeper than just our own bodies. I mean, what if our biology is literally carrying the echoes of our ancestors' lives?
Okay, this is where we get into the mind-blowing field of epigenetics. The best way to think about it is like this. Imagine your DNA is a giant library full of books. Epigenetics doesn't rewrite any of the words in those books. Instead, it acts like bookmarks and sticky notes and highlights, telling your body which chapters to read and which ones to ignore. And here's the kicker. Those marks can be passed down through generations.
A landmark experiment made this stunningly clear. Scientists took male mice and taught them to be afraid of the smell of cherry blossoms. Now, what's incredible is that their children and even their grandchildren were born with a heightened fear of that exact same smell, even though they had never ever been exposed to it themselves. The memory of that fear was literally written onto their genes through these epigenetic marks in the father's sperm.
So, and this is the crucial point, this isn't just some weird thing that happens in mice. Studies on the descendants of Holocaust survivors have found similar epigenetic changes on genes that are related to stress. And another famous study in Sweden found that whether a grandfather had a lot of food or very little could actually affect his grandson's risk of heart disease decades and decades later. The experiences of our ancestors are literally written into our biology.
So this raises a really profound question, doesn't it? If our cellular story is inherited, do we have the power to rewrite it? Well, modern science is actually beginning to say yes. And this brings us to an incredible new development. I mean, scientists are now creating tools that act like molecular pencils and erasers for our genes. They can actually find those epigenetic bookmarks left by our ancestors and precisely edit them, which is just opening up a revolutionary new frontier in medicine.
One of the most exciting of these tools is called CRISPRoff. What it does essentially is it puts a permanent off switch on a specific gene, but it does it without ever cutting or changing the DNA itself. This could be a much safer way to treat genetic diseases, just by silencing a faulty gene instead of trying to cut it out.
So this newfound ability to interact with our own biological code, it really forces us to ask a critical question. Should we be following the laws that are written in our biology, or the dogmas that have so often been imposed on top of it? You can really see the two systems clearly, side by side. On one hand, you have nature's law. This emerges from observing what actually works for our bodies, principles of balance and healing. But on the other hand, you have dogma, the rules that are often imposed by institutions, which sometimes can prioritize things like obedience and control over our natural well-being.
And this leads to a pretty powerful historical critique, doesn't it? The idea that when we forget the natural laws of our own bodies, these external dogmas can be used as tools of social control. They can end up serving institutional interests rather than helping us connect with the actual principles of life.
And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. If our very cells hold the wisdom of our ancestors, if they hold the instruction manual for health and for balance, what becomes possible when we finally learn how to read that manual? What happens when we learn to listen to what our own biology has been trying to tell us all along?